We're going to do this interview. Let's do it, Josh. Let's dive in.
All right.
I'm all about it.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording. Hell
Perfect.
yeah, fuck. Swear
So
less if we're going to share it. No,
nice.
you're not. Oh my God, I should never have agreed to do this at this time of night.
Yeah, you really shouldn't have.
All right, I'm in. I'm all in.
All right. So my name's JJ Ashcraft, and this interview is for Skydive Mag. We are talking with somebody who most of you may know, some of you may not. This is Melanie Curtis, 11,000 plus jumps, world record holder, author, speaker, entrepreneur. The list could go on for the whole 30 minutes here. So we're gonna start with just that. Can you tell us a little bit about your secret skydiving club that's growing?
Oh, stop. I know it's funny. Josh is saying it's a secret club because I stink about telling people about it. I think, gosh, I feel like the VSC. So the VSC is the Virtual Skydiving Center. It was a brainchild that I had when I was taking a break from jumping actively, and I still wanted to help people and coach young jumpers. So it just felt like this great travesty that I couldn't help people unless I was actually physically, literally at a drop zone. And then it just hit me like between the eyes. And I was like, oh, duh, modern technology. Weird. And so the VSC basically was born. And I think it's almost 4 years, maybe more. I'd have to look at when it started, but it's been awesome. I love it. And I love you all for being a part of it. And I'm just happy it actually helps people.
As a fairly well-known skydiver and someone who regularly meets and jumps with brand new people all over the world, what do you think separates true friends from acquaintances you meet along the way?
Yeah, good question. The life coach in me is like, I got this. True friends and acquaintances. I mean, it's interesting. Skydiving is a very bonding activity in itself, but really and truly, I think what connects us is when we are willing to be vulnerable with each other and actually show and share our real selves. Now, I don't mean this in terms of oversharing as a quick jump to connect, because that's not actually connecting. That's sort of a, trying to almost like manufacture connection when we go too quickly. So it's really about over time and experience with people being willing to share our actual selves, which can be either things that we care about deeply, or it can be things that we're afraid of. It can be things that we're working to heal. And yeah, like with my work as a life coach, I am honored, like deeply honored to be allowed into people's lives and selves and stories to the level and depth that I'm allowed to be in there, because I really honor that level of sharing.
Nice. So speaking of going deep then, do you have any rituals that you have in the past for competitions or even just fun jumps?
Ooh, yeah, rituals for jumping. Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, I always breathe like a weirdo. So, and it's something that I've talked about before in interviews, but it started in my competitive days when I was first doing four-way competition. I would feel the tension and anxiety coming up in my body. I would feel it tensing up my muscles and clouding my mind. And this is obviously something that can happen to us in a conversation that we're afraid of, in a social anxiety setting, in a performance anxiety setting, in a mortal danger setting, where, like that's the thing. We kind of touch a lot of those in skydiving. And so how I help diffuse that is I go back to my physiology first, and I I really exhale the tension from my body first as a first step, but I basically do it automatically now. So now my body feels tension or starts to tense up, and I will almost automatically, without even thinking, do a big breath, which is why I say I sound like a weirdo.
Nice.
Other than like gear checks and stuff. Of course, I do that
Sure.
stuff as ritual, and I have some, handshakes with my peeps that are personalized because I'm a fan of that.
Oh, nice. I think we all are. If you could have a billboard at the DZ and it said anything on it, what would it say?
Well, I've answered this question before because somebody else interviewed me about this, because Tim Ferriss does this. This is one of Tim Ferriss's questions, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. And I love this question. And the Tim Ferriss question is slightly different in that it's a billboard on the highway. And my answer would still be the same, is you are loved. Now, the spiritual part of me wants to go, you are love, right? We are love, wants to go there. But I say I would want the billboard to say you are loved, because usually that's a starting point for people to begin to heal, is to feel like, oh, okay, I'm loved. I'm loved truly, and I feel that, and I believe that, and I connect to that love from that other person. And I feel like that starts to allow people down a real and true deeper path of healing and spiritual connection.
Nice.
I'm
So
deep. I admit it. Hashtag detox.
Nice. So as far as deep talks go, you've got a book that's nearly 500 pages long.
That you are a miracle worker on, my friend.
We did this together.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So in this book, you've got close to 100 chapters. Do you have?
It's what? Well, how many is it?
100 and something.
Something.
Out of all those chapters, do you have one that you would recommend the most to anybody?
Gosh, that is a good question. Ooh, that is a good question. For people who don't know what Josh is talking about, it's my book, How to Fly: Life Lessons from a Professional Skydiver, which is the collection at the time of publishing of all of my columns for Blue Skies magazine. So that column is basically a skydiving and life coaching column where I share about my experiences and insights and all of that good stuff. Oh, that's tough. It's like, it's kind of like that conversation of which kid is your favorite if you had kids. Matil is my favorite, by the way. She's my cat. Totally. She's famous because, anyway, whatever. I love the one. I'm just going to list a few that I love. How about that?
That sounds good.
Grandma and Gandhi is one of my favorites because it was the one that I wrote with my gram when she was nearing the end of her life, and it was wonderful, and won't cry. Hashtag vulnerability. God, I was crying on the podcast a lot lately. But yeah, Grandma and Gandhi, because that's a real look at family and chosen family. I think We Were on a Break is also very good because it gives people insight into a really painful part of my life and how I was then coming out of it and how I worked through it and what I got from that painful period of my life, which I think is really powerful to have access to as an idea, that when we're in a painful period of our life, that A, that we can get through it, first of all, and B, there's fucking excellent, amazing, deep, beautiful value that is a part of our rising on the other side. So that's another one. And there's so many. They're all like, they really are all like personally meaningful to me, but those are two I would highlight.
Great. Where can we find this book?
You can find it at melaniecurtis.com/howtoflybook, or you can find it on Amazon. Yeah. Or you can come to the Hall of Fame event. I'm doing a book signing. Come see me. So I'm getting to sit next to legends, by the way. I'm like so excited about that. I don't
I
even
love
know.
the one in Florida. The one in
Oh,
Florida was amazing.
I don't even know what to do. But like, seriously, I'm going to get to sit next to all these wicked mega legends with the book signing. It's going to be nuts. I don't even know what to do with myself. I still feel like a preteen in skydiving, you know?
You you shouldn't. You're up there with the
Well,
greats now.
I'm not a baby, but I'm not like an adult in skydiving. I feel like I'm
Is
still,
there such a
you
thing?
know, I don't know. If we have to go with the metaphor of that, I'm like, I feel like I'm still preteen. That's where I'm at.
Nice. So you've recently gotten back into demo jumping. Can you tell
Mm-hmm.
us a little about your last demo jump and what it was for?
Yes. Oh, I'm psyched about this, you guys. There's been so much work behind the scenes. So basically, Amy Shemalecki and I are the co-founders and co-captains of the new Women's Skydiving Network Pro Demonstration Jump team. And that is so, so cool to me because it's not only committed to empowering women both in the sport, it's committed to empowering women at large in the world to live a bold, brave life, whether it's joining us in the sport of skydiving or whether it's doing it in their own way where they're uniquely called. On top of that, there's a tone of really elevating this conversation of gender equality in the world and equality at large. And so for me, as someone who it's just this amazing opportunity, it feels like to me. I can barely wrap my brain around it most days, with the best of all of my life and experience and career experience coming together in this amazing opportunity to make positive impact in the world in a much bigger way.
That's
You're
awesome.
amazing.
How big
I'm
was the flag?
grateful. I'm grateful. Well, I jumped the giant belly mounted bag of explosives. I only will call smoke canisters explosives because it sounds way cooler.
Yeah,
It does.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying. So yeah, no, I jumped the line of smoke with the American flag. So the American flag was being flown by Chazzy, and we did this kind of a dual thing where I was flying the smoke and all that.
Nice. Do you have your pro rating, or did
I
you get it
do.
before?
Yeah. Definitely have my pro rating. And
Cool.
that's part of the mission of our team down the line, is to hopefully create education opportunities for people who are wanting to grow their skills in the sport, whether it, to, if they have interest of being a part of this demo team and demos in general, and what is the path to get there, and what do I need to learn, what skills do I need to earn to be able to potentially have that type of opportunity as well.
So the big question is, why did you sign on with SunPath? What drew you to that company?
Oh, SunPath. Gosh, SunPath, the choice of champions. It's not nothing. It's genuinely not nothing. SunPath supports the best athletes in our sport, obviously, which sounds so bad. I mean, everyone in our sport is awesome. But I will say this, is that before I jumped a javelin, I jumped other stuff. And what I will say is that when I finally did jump a javelin, and this is the straight truth, I just didn't understand until I jumped it. And I had never jumped it before I jumped it. You know what I mean? And so when I did, I was like, wow, okay, I'm going to mute you, Jessica. When I jumped it was so much more comfortable, and I just felt really secure and solid in the rig itself, on top of the customer service that SunPath provides.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that pretty much wraps up a majority of the questions I have for you. This group is close to 49, 50 members deep now. We've got quite a few here today, and I'm hoping that somebody else has a question or two here for you.
Fire away, team. It's a very exciting time.
Well,
Jessica,
I was watching your
Annette,
commercial.
go ahead.
I was watching your commercial, your Jack's Burger commercial. Have you ever eaten like actual food in free fall during free fall?
Yes,
And
I
what kind of
have.
food was that? What kind of food was that?
Have I ever eaten food in free fall? The answer is yes. And what food I ate was in the days of my team that was called Monkey Business, we were committed to creating monkey business in the sport and in the sky. And we organized like a 12-way banana jump where everybody had bananas. We all jumped out, and the whole goal was to eat the banana in free fall, which we all did. And it's comical because if it's got to be, I would recommend greener bananas because the bananas that were not that green just like kind of spray onto your face. And all over like my face shield had like banana residue on it for like 6 months after that. It was totally worth it. Anything else? I'm all ears, peeps. Jessica, I'm going to unmute you. What's up, sister?
I was just going to say hi. I'm not really going to put much input in this evening because I'm Ubering and listening at the same time.
Yes, please be
So
safe.
I just wanted to say hello.
Hi. Right on. I'm doing an interview with Josh, if you didn't notice.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
That's kind of
I'm
what's
good
happening. Anybody else?
So
Okay,
Mel, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, since your whole goal of advancing women in the sport of skydiving and overall, at large to live bold lives, have you ever thought about forming a nonprofit around your objectives?
Yeah, I have, and that probably will happen. It's just not happened yet. So yeah, the answer to that is yes, but it's unclear as to how that will form. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's interesting. The whole project feels like I liken it to a snowballing freight train of awesomeness. Like there's no way to actually describe what it is. It's like this incredible force, which is very cool. So I laugh because I have the people I've shared with about it. I talk about the super unsexy, I have to be really on top of my organizational system. Like the life coach in me that has to, and the business person in me, and the person who's committed to delivering at a high level for any job or anything I say yes to. The only way to do it at the level of workload and action that's happening sort of on this side at the moment is to have a wildly functional and on point organizational system, period.
Absolutely.
Otherwise shit falls through the cracks, and then you start breaking down and you start missing stuff, you know what I mean, not delivering at the high level. And that to me is not something I'm willing to do in a sustained way, because it erodes trust. And so that is what I'm super, super committed to. So I'd rather, learn through this process, be really, really committed to that, and make sure I don't say yes to too many things so that I don't sustain the breakdown, the mini breakdowns that happen with increased workload.
Yeah. Awesome. Makes sense.
Thanks. Jessica, what's up, girl?
Hey, one more thing. Can you post a link for the VSC t-shirts for me?
Yes. I love it. Jessica totally just dropped the VSC t-shirt. Yeah, team. I love it because we're sharing this video. I'm happy to share the link, of course. No problem. And
Thank you.
Good job backflying. Did you get my response?
I did. I haven't had a chance to go over it yet.
No worries. All good.
So just to wrap up, can you tell us where people can find you and maybe where they can find the VSC?
Yeah. Oh, you're so good, Josh. Thank you for supporting me as always. You're so good. You can find me at melaniecurtis.com. The new WSN team and the pro team stuff, that is at Women's Skydiving. So like on Instagram, I think is our main focus. That's the handle there. The VSC you can find at thevsc.life, because this is a lifestyle. But yeah, the vsc.life is where you would go to join us, or just drop me a line, melaniecurtis.com, if you have questions or whatever.
All right.
That
Thank you so
everything?
much for your time. Yeah, I think that you covered it.
This does not feel like a legit interview because we're hanging out like normal VSC.